Hello and welcome to this episode of the StackStorm Technical Deep Dive. I'm Rick Hoffman, Global TME over here at HP Aruba Networking. Now, we've been working with a pack that interacts with this thing called the Star Wars API. Now, it's a public API out on the internet, and we're going to write a StackStorm interaction or a StackStorm integration pack that interacts with that API. And this is pretty much rinse and repeat stuff. So once we build this pack and we get this pack working and it works with something out on the web, your next pack is almost going to be identical. So let's jump in and see how this all works. Let's get started.
Okay, let's try to get this wrapped up a little bit here. So the last thing we have to do is get the swapi pack installed in our StackStorm server. Now we installed the ServiceNow pack using the GUI, right? So we were in packs and we were able to go to the available packs. Well, those are the packs out on the exchange. Our pack, the swapi pack, the one that I wrote for this course, it's not on the exchange. So we're going to have to install it on the command line. So we'll say st2 pack install. And here we could say like twitter for anything on the exchange. But if it's on the GitHub, we have to put the GitHub URL. So we just put https github.com, my ID, Zod442, and then the name of the pack, StackStorm-swapi. And just like that, we're installing the swapi pack. So the download pack, it found it out on the GitHub. It's downloading it, installing it, and building the environments. You can watch it run over here under the history tab. It's out there doing its thing, and it's installing that pack. So over here, you can just kind of follow along. And once it gets done, you can see it finish. It's installing like the requirements. We put that request library in the requirements.txt file. It's getting all that set up for us and building the virtual environments, registering the pack, and then boom, it's in, it's done. We can say st2 run swapi get PEOPLE. That's an action. We should see dots here while it's crunching away, right? So just to prove that it's running, you can see that action's running up there. Okay, that's good. The action's running. And if it really is doing its thing, we would see it happening over here. We'd see the output. So it takes a little bit of time to get the people out of that API. So it'll be a little while here until we see something happening there. Okay, so we have installed the pack, right? But there was something in that pack, right under the swapi pack, the base URL. If you do not see the base URL here, then we're going to have to add that base URL in there. You would simply type this swapi.dev/API and go ahead and save it. Another way you can do that, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this real quick and show you where that lives. When we put packs into StackStorm, they go in this packs directory. So if you look inside that packs directory, and you can see what's going on there, you can find all of our packs. If we change to a swapi, you can see all the stuff in the swapi. Now there is that swapi YAML configuration file that I have in there, and you can see it just has that base URL in there. Now, if we were to go get back out of this, and you would see here again that there's this other directory called configs under StackStorm. And if we look inside configs, you will find all those little YAML files with all the credentials. So there is a way you can do this and save these. Remember, we talked about the data store, and we can save stuff encrypted in the data store. That is an option. But I just have it here, So you can say cat, the service now, and you can see our credentials there. So something to be aware of. If you're really super, they have to do the password login into the StackStorm server. If that's not enough for you, you want to wrap some more security around that, be my guest. That's a video for another day. But under this configs, you could, if you look in here and you don't see the swapi, you can simply copy from /opt. Now that's the real opt, not the one in your home directory. StackStorm, right? Packs, and then SWAPI, and then you would say SWAPI.yaml.xample. You would copy it to simply SWAPI.yaml, and that's it. You'd hit enter here, and it would copy that file over. So that's another way of getting it in there if you do not see that in the 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 pack here when you're looking at the registered packs. So it's there, it's running, it's doing its thing. If we go back in history, see, there's the swappy get people. It actually ran, got people. Look at all the stuff it picked up for us, right? So it did what it was supposed to do. And we're going to go back out of that. Okay, so pack loaded. It's got the right base URL. We're ready to go and get this thing fired up. Now, if we look back at ServiceNow, our table's empty here, and we want to get information. So really, all you have done as an automator is build StackStorm in Docker Desktop, and you installed the ServiceNow pack, and then you installed the swapi pack. That's all we've done. And now that we have that done, that's all the automation you've done. So no automating, right? You're just installing packs for StackStorm. So to get it to actually run, we said we had to go under rules and look for our swapi pack under rules and find the people to snow pack, and we're going to enable it. But before I do that, I want to edit it, and I'm going to set this to 1 minute just so it runs really fast. Okay, so it's set to 1. Now I'm going to turn it on and let it go. So it is enabled and the countdown has started. So 1 minute from now, this is going to kick up and take off. And then as soon as it does, I'm going to turn this rule off because I know it's going to take a lot more than a minute to get this to go. It's going to take more than 5 minutes. And what you could run into is the process of it kicking off, and then before it even has time to get busy and get going, it's going to kick off again. So we'll just kind of watch for that. So we'll just sit here and kind of hang out and wait and see what happens. When I'm looking at this, you can see everything that's run and everything that hasn't run. So this is a great way to debunk or debug your packs in action. You can sit there and watch everything they do. So we have not passed the minute mark. We just did. The people to snow kicked off. It's running. So that minute timer, I'm going to go over real quick under rules. Find that 1 minute timer under rules. Grab it and turn it off. Okay. And then we'll just go back here to history, sit down in history, and watch this thing run. So, like I said, it takes a minute or two to get the swappy people, but we just saw it did that down here. So we just manually ran the action down here, and we saw it work. So we're just going to wait for it to work again. And then when it gets the people from the API, we're going to put it in the Mongo database. But we already have records in our Mongo database. I can tell you that. I can go look using the Mongo client, but I know they're there because I've run this 100 times already. So when it gets to putting the people in the Mongo database, it'll do what the action told us to do, and it'll fail out with an error message. possibly duplicate, because we're not going to create duplicate records in the Mongo database. And then we're going to also process flag that stuff, so we're not creating duplicate records over in ServiceNow. So you can see we got people, good enough. People, we sent to Mongo, failed to write Mongo record, possibly duplicate, just what it did. It's getting all those records out of the Mongo database, and now it is going out talking to ServiceNow. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see how these things run, but it's going out doing its thing. We can go over to our table and refresh this and see if we're getting anything in our table yet. But we should start seeing entries in our table. If this refreshes, it'll be all right. So we'll let that percolate for a minute. Now you can see snow alerts, green. It is actually going out and putting stuff in our table for us. We can go over here and look. You want to be that way? We're just going to go over here and say swapi. And look at our table. Boom. Now look, you see the record numbers in here, but you don't see anything else. But just click on the record number, and there is all the information that we've been dealing with. Okay? You can see some of our lists are a bit messed up because we set our character limit to 40. We should probably set that number bigger when we're creating this record in the table, but I'm just showing you that this is working, and we've got one of 19 already, and these are all the people that are in there. So when this gets done running and putting all these people into ServiceNow, you're going to see it's going to go back and do that last thing in the workflow. Let's take a quick look, swapi, and look at that workflow again. And you can see that it's done everything. We went and got the people out of the API. We loaded the Mongo database. We got the people out of Mongo. We're creating ServiceNow records with an iteration loop here. And the last thing we do when we're all done is we do process the people, and we set that ServiceNow process flag TS, so we avoid our duplicate record entries into ServiceNow. So that's everything in a nutshell. And I just want to come back here in a minute and talk to you about one last thing, and we will be complete with this course. Thank you for all your hard work and effort in following along with this, and we'll catch you in the next chapter.